The vast emptiness of space stretched out before the ISS Horizon, Earth's most advanced deep space exploration vessel. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the holographic display that showed nothing but the endless void. It had been 6 months since they'd left Earth's solar system, pushing the boundaries of human exploration further than ever before. "Captain, we're picking up something on long-range sensors," Lieutenant Raj Patel called out, his fingers dancing across his console. "It's faint, but it appears to be a distress signal." Sarah's heart raced. This was it, the moment every space explorer dreamed of but few ever experienced. First contact. She took a deep breath, steadying herself. "Can you pinpoint the source, Raj?" "Working on it, Captain. The signal's coming from the Epsilon Eridani system, about 10.5 light-years from Earth. It's not a language we recognize, but the pattern suggests it's definitely artificial." Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the ship's gynobiologist, spoke up. "Captain, if there's a chance of encountering alien life, we need to proceed with caution. We have no idea what we might be dealing with." Sarah nodded, her mind already racing through protocols and possibilities. "Agreed. Raj, alert Earth Command. We're going to need backup and specialized personnel for this. In the meantime, plot a course for Epsilon Eridani. We're going to investigate." As the ISS Horizon changed course, Sarah couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and trepidation. Humanity had long wondered if they were alone in the universe. Now they were about to find out. The journey to Epsilon Eridani took weeks, even with the Horizon's advanced propulsion systems. Earth had dispatched additional ships with experts in various fields, linguists, diplomats, and military personnel, just in case. As they approached the source of the distress signal, the tension on the bridge was palpable. "Captain, we've located the source," Raj announced. "It's a ship, but it's like nothing we've ever seen before." The main view screen lit up, revealing a massive vessel that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Its hull was a shifting, iridescent material that appeared both solid and liquid at the same time. Tendrils of energy pulsed along its surface, and at its center was a pulsating core of blinding light. "My God," Dr. Rodriguez whispered, "it's beautiful." Sarah steeled herself. "Okay, people, this is what we've trained for. Raj, scan for life signs. Elena, prep the quarantine bay. We're going to attempt communication." For hours, they tried every known method of communication: radio waves, light signals, even mathematical sequences. The alien ship remained silent, its distress beacon the only sign of activity. "Captain," Raj said, his voice tight with concern, "I'm detecting a single life sign aboard the vessel. It's faint and fluctuating." Sarah made her decision. "We're going in. Prep a rescue team. Full containment protocols." The rescue team, led by Sarah herself, approached the alien vessel in a shuttle. As they drew closer, a portal arised open on its hull, as if inviting them in. The interior was a maze of organic-looking corridors that seemed to pulse with life. Following the life sign readings, they made their way deeper into the ship. The air was thick and humid, filled with an alien scent that was both sweet and acrid. Finally, they reached what appeared to be the ship's control center. There, sprawled across a console that looked more like a living organ than a machine, was a creature unlike anything they had ever seen or imagined. It was massive, easily twice the size of a human, with a body covered in iridescent scales that shifted color with each labored breath. Multiple limbs, some ending in delicate digits, others in powerful claws, twitched sporadically. Its head was elongated, with no visible eyes, but covered in what looked like sensory organs. The creature was clearly injured, its body marred by what looked like energy burns and deep gashes. As the team approached, it let out a low, keening sound that sent shivers down their spines. Dr. Rodriguez stepped forward, her voice barely above a whisper. "Captain, I think it's dying." Sarah looked at the alien, then at her team. In that moment, she knew that the choice they made here would define humanity's place in the cosmos. Would they turn away, overwhelmed by the alienness of the creature? Or would they extend a hand in compassion, risking everything to save a life so different from their own? "We're taking it back to the horizon," Sarah declared. "Elena, stabilize it as best you can. We're going to save this being's life." As they carefully moved the alien onto a stretcher, its sensory organs seemed to focus on Sarah. A tendril of thought brushed against her mind, faint, alien, but unmistakably filled with gratitude and hope. Sarah smiled beneath her helmet. "You're going to be okay," she said, not knowing if the creature could understand her words, but hoping it could sense her intent. "We're here to help." As they made their way back to the shuttle, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. Humanity had taken its first real step into a larger universe, and nothing would ever be the same again. The rescue team, with their alien passenger, boarded the shuttle and began the journey back to the ISS horizon. As they approached, Sarah could see the other Earth ships that had arrived, hanging in space like silent sentinels. She knew that what happened next would be scrutinized not just by Earth's leaders, but potentially by other alien civilizations as well. Once aboard the horizon, the alien was rushed to the specially prepared quarantine bay. Dr. Rodriguez and her team worked tirelessly, using a combination of earth medicine and improvised techniques to stabilize the creature's condition. Hours passed, and finally, Elena emerged from the quarantine bay, her face etched with exhaustion but her eyes bright with excitement. "Captain," she said, "you're not going to believe this. The outcast." Dr. Elena Rodriguez's eyes sparkled with a mix of excitement and disbelief as she addressed Captain Sarah Chen and the assembled crew of the ISS Horizon. "The alien, it's recovering, and it's trying to communicate." A ripple of murmurs swept through the crowd. Sarah leaned forward, her heart racing. "What do you mean, Elena? How?" It's telepathic," Elena explained, her voice filled with wonder. "As its condition stabilized, we started receiving impressions, images, emotions. It's like nothing we've ever encountered before." Sarah nodded, processing this extraordinary information. "Is it safe for us to attempt direct communication?" Elena hesitated for a moment. "I believe so, but we should proceed with caution. Its mind is vast, alien. We don't fully understand the implications of telepathic contact." "Understood," Sarah replied. "Assemble a small team. We're going in." As they entered the quarantine bay, Sarah was struck by how different the alien looked now that it was conscious and alert. Its iridescent scales shimmered with a soft, pulsating light, and its multiple limbs moved with a fluid grace that belied their earlier weakness. But it was the creature's presence that truly captivated her, an aura of ancient wisdom and profound sadness that seemed to fill the room. As Sarah approached, she felt a gentle pressure in her mind, like a tentative knock on a door. She took a deep breath and mentally opened herself to the contact. Immediately, her mind was flooded with a cascade of images and emotions. Vast starfields, worlds beyond imagination, civilizations rising and falling across eons. And through it all, a sense of profound loneliness and rejection. "My name is Zix," a voice echoed in her mind, alien yet somehow familiar. "I thank you for saving me, though I do not understand why you did so." Sarah swallowed hard, trying to form coherent thoughts in response. We couldn't leave you to die. It's not our way." A ripple of surprise and curiosity flowed from Zix. "Fascinating. My own people abandoned me without hesitation when they deemed me defective." The word defective carried with it a weight of pain and confusion that made Sarah's heart ache. Defective. How? Why? Images flashed through her mind, Zix among others of its kind, towering crystalline cities, advanced technology beyond human comprehension. But always Zix was apart, different. Its scales didn't shine quite as brightly, its telepathic abilities were weaker, its form considered ungainly and ugly by the standards of its people. "I was an embarrassment," Zix explained, its mental voice tinged with resignation. a reminder that even our advanced civilization could produce imperfections, so they left me to die, alone in the void. Sarah felt a surge of anger at the callousness of Zix's people. That's horrible. No one deserves to be treated that way. Zix's surprise at her reaction was palpable. You truly believe that, even though I am so different from you. Especially because you're different, Sarah replied firmly. Where we come from, diversity is strength. Our differences make us who we are. A wave of emotion washed over her, hope, gratitude, and a desperate longing for acceptance. I do not know what to say. Your kindness is unexpected, but deeply appreciated. As Sarah was about to respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. Lieutenant Ray's voice came over the intercom, tense and urgent. Captain, we're detecting multiple ships entering the system. They're like nothing we've ever seen before. Sarah felt a spike of fear from Zix. They've come for me, the alien's mental voice whispered. My people. They will not allow me to live among other species. They fear what I might reveal about them. Sarah's jaw set in determination. Well, they're going to have to go through us first. You're under our protection now, Zix. As she rushed to the bridge, Sarah's mind raced. They were about to face an advanced alien civilization, one that had callously abandoned one of their own. The fate of Zix, the crew of the Horizon, and possibly all of humanity hung in the balance. On the bridge, the main view screen showed a fleet of ships that made Zix's vessel look primitive by comparison. They were massive, their hulls a gleaming, ever-shifting lattice of energy and matter. They're hailing us, Captain, Raj reported, his voice tight with tension. Sarah took a deep breath, straightening her uniform. On screen, the image that appeared was both beautiful and terrifying. The alien was similar to Zix in basic form, but where Zix was considered ungainly by its people's standards, this being was the epitome of their ideal. Its scales shimmered with blinding intensity, its form was perfectly symmetrical, and its mental presence was an overwhelming force that threatened to overwhelm Sarah's defenses. Humans, the alien's voice boomed in their minds, disdain dripping from every syllable. You have something that belongs to us. Return the defective unit immediately, or face the consequences of your interference. Sarah felt her anger rising, but she kept her voice steady. The defective unit you're referring to is a sentient being who we've granted asylum. We don't abandon those under our protection. The alien's mental presence darkened like storm clouds gathering. You do not understand what you're dealing with, primitive creatures. That thing is a threat to the purity of our civilization. Its continued existence cannot be tolerated. With all due respect, Sarah replied, her voice hard. Any civilization that abandons its own people for being different doesn't sound very pure to me. Zix stays with us. The alien's fury was a palpable force, causing several crew members to wince in pain. You have made your choice, humans. Prepare to face the consequences of your misguided compassion. As the transmission cut off, Sarah turned to her crew. Battle stations, everyone. And someone get Zix up here. I have a feeling we're going to need all the help we can get. As klaxons blared and the crew rushed to prepare for the impending conflict, Sarah couldn't help but feel a mix of fear and exhilaration. Humanity was about to make its stand on the galactic stage, defending not just Zix, but the very ideals that defined them as a species. Little did they know that this confrontation would unlock hidden potentials and forge alliances that would reshape the very fabric of the galaxy. Hidden potential. The tension on the bridge of the IS Horizon was palpable as the alien fleet loomed before them. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the helm, her mind racing through possible strategies. They were outgunned and outnumbered, facing a technologically superior enemy. But Sarah knew that humanity's greatest strength had always been its ability to adapt and overcome seemingly impossible odds. Zix glided onto the bridge, its iridescent scales dimmed with concern. I am sorry, its mental voice echoed in their minds. I never meant to bring this conflict upon you. Sarah turned to the alien, her expression softening. This isn't your fault, Zix. We chose to stand up for what's right. That's what humans do. As she spoke, an idea began to form in her mind. Zix, you said your people considered you defective because your abilities were different. What exactly can you do that they can't? Zix's form shimmered with uncertainty. I am not sure. I was always told that my abilities were weak, useless. But since you rescued me, I have felt different, stronger. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stepped forward, her scientific curiosity piqued. Captain, if I may. Our initial scans of Zix showed some unusual energy patterns that we couldn't explain. Perhaps there's more to Zix's abilities than even it realizes. Sarah nodded. All right, let's find out. Zix, I need you to focus. Reach out with your mind, not just to us, but to the ship itself. See if you can connect with our systems. Zix's form trembled slightly, but it nodded in agreement. As the alien closed its eyes, or what passed for eyes, in concentration, the lights on the bridge flickered. Suddenly, every screen and holographic display on the bridge came to life, showing a dizzying array of data and images. Incredible, Raj gasped. It's interfacing directly with our computer systems, processing data faster than anything we've ever seen. Sarah watched in awe as Zix's consciousness seemed to expand, filling the ship with its presence. Zix, what do you see? The alien's mental voice was filled with wonder. Everything. I see the patterns of energy that make up your ship, the intricate dance of particles in space. I can feel the thoughts and intentions of the fleet that threatens us, and I think I know how we can defend ourselves. As Zix spoke, the ship's systems began to reconfigure themselves. Weapon systems that had been pushed to their limits suddenly found new reserves of power. Shields that had been on the verge of failure strengthened, taking on a faint iridescent sheen reminiscent of Zix's scales. Captain, Raj reported, his voice filled with disbelief, our ship's efficiency has increased by over 300%. We're seeing capabilities we never knew we had. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. Well done, Zix. Now, let's show your former people what a defective individual can really do. As the alien fleet opened fire, the horizon moved with a grace and speed it had never possessed before. Zix's consciousness guided the ship, predicting the enemy's moves before they made them. The human crew worked in perfect synchronization with their alien ally, their combined efforts creating a defense that the attackers had never anticipated. Hours passed in a blur of tactical maneuvers and counterattacks. The horizon danced through the void, outmaneuvering ships many times its size. Gradually, the tide of the battle began to turn. Finally, the alien commander's voice boomed in their minds once more, this time tinged with disbelief. How is this possible? How are you defeating our superior technology? Sarah stood tall, her voice firm. It's not about superior technology. It's about working together, about recognizing the value in our differences. Zix isn't defective. It's extraordinary. And by accepting it, we've become stronger than you could ever imagine. There was a long pause before the alien responded. Perhaps we have been mistaken. We request a ceasefire to discuss terms. As the weapons fell silent and negotiations began, Sarah turned to Zix, whose form was glowing with a newfound confidence. You did it, Zix. You saved us all. Zix's mental voice was filled with emotion. No, Captain, we did it together. For the first time in my existence, I feel whole, accepted. Thank you for showing me what I could truly be. But even as they celebrated their victory, a shadow loomed on the horizon. The conflict had drawn the attention of other alien races, some curious, others fearful of this new alliance between humans and a powerful telepathic being. As reports came in of strange phenomena occurring across the galaxy, Sarah realized that their adventure was far from over. The true test of humanity's resolve and Zix's newfound abilities was yet to come. Preparing for battle. In the weeks following the confrontation with Zix's former civilization, the IS horizon had become a hub of frantic activity. News of the alliance between humans and a powerful telepathic being had spread across the galaxy like wildfire, drawing both curiosity and concern from various alien races. Captain Sarah Chen stood in the newly established war room, surrounded by holograms displaying star charts and incoming reports from Earth and other human colonies. The atmosphere was tense, filled with a mix of excitement and apprehension. "Captain," Lieutenant Raj Patel called out, his voice tight with urgency. "We're receiving another transmission from the Galactic Council." Sarah sighed, steeling herself. The Galactic Council, a loose confederation of advanced alien races, had been in an uproar since learning of Zix and its abilities. Some members saw the Human-Zix alliance as a threat to the balance of power, while others were intrigued by the potential it represented. "Put it through, Raj," Sarah ordered, straightening her uniform. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing a panel of diverse alien beings. Their forms ranged from vaguely humanoid to utterly bizarre, but all exuded an aura of ancient power and wisdom. The central figure, a crystalline being that pulsed with inner light, spoke first. Its voice resonated directly in their minds, a chorus of harmonics that sent shivers down Sarah's spine. "Humans of Earth," it began, "your actions have caused great concern among the members of this council. The being you call Zix possesses abilities that could upset the delicate balance we have maintained for eons. We demand that you surrender it to our custody immediately." Sarah felt a surge of protective anger. "With all due respect, councillors, Zix is not our prisoner. It's our ally and friend. We won't hand it over to anyone against its will." A ripple of agitation passed through the alien panel. Another being, this one a swirling vortex of ever-shifting colors, spoke up. "You do not understand the forces you are dealing with, humans. The power Zix wields could destroy entire civilizations if left unchecked. Or it could usher in a new era of cooperation and understanding," Sarah countered. "Zix has shown us possibilities we never dreamed of. Together, we're stronger than we ever were apart." The crystalline being's light dimmed slightly. "Your species' stubbornness is well known, Captain Chen, but be warned. If you continue on this path, you may face consequences beyond your comprehension. You have one standard galactic cycle to reconsider your position. Choose wisely." As the transmission cut off, Sarah turned to her crew, her jaw set with determination. "Well, looks like we've got our work cut out for us. Reg, contact Earth Command. We need to prepare for every possibility." Over the next few weeks, the horizon became the center of a whirlwind of activity. Scientists and engineers from Earth worked around the clock with Zix, studying its abilities and developing new technologies that merged human ingenuity with alien insight. Dr. Elena Rodriguez led a team that was making breakthroughs in telepathic interfaces, allowing for unprecedented levels of communication and control between humans and machines. "It's incredible, Captain," she reported excitedly. "With Zix's help, we're developing systems that could revolutionize everything from space travel to medical treatments." Meanwhile, military strategists from Earth's United Defense Forces pored over star charts and sensor data, developing tactics to counter the advanced technologies of potential alien aggressors. The Horizon's successful defense against Zix's former people had provided valuable insights, but they knew they couldn't rely on catching their opponents off guard a second time. Through it all, Zix worked tirelessly alongside its human allies. Its telepathic abilities had grown exponentially since joining the Horizon's crew, and it now served as a living bridge between human and machine, organic and artificial intelligence. One evening, as Sarah was reviewing the latest defense plans in her quarters, she felt the familiar presence of Zix's mind touching hers. "Captain," Zix's mental voice whispered, tinged with concern. "May I speak with you?" Sarah set down her tablet, opening her mind to the alien's presence. "Of course, Zix. What's on your mind?" A wave of complex emotions washed over her: gratitude, fear, determination, and something deeper, harder to define. I want to thank you," Zix began. You and your crew have shown me kindness and acceptance I never thought possible. You've helped me discover abilities I never knew I had." Sarah smiled warmly. "You've given us just as much in return, Zix. You've opened our eyes to possibilities we never imagined." "But at what cost?" Zix's mental voice was heavy with worry. "I never meant to bring such danger to your people. Perhaps it would be better if I gave myself up to the Galactic Council. I cannot bear the thought of bringing harm to those who have shown me such compassion." Sarah's resolve hardened. "Absolutely not, Zix. We don't abandon our own, no matter the threat. Your former people tried to destroy you because they feared what was different. We're not going to make the same mistake." She stood, pacing her quarters as she spoke aloud, knowing Zix could hear both her words and the conviction behind them. "Humanity has faced impossible odds before. We've stared into the abyss and come out stronger. With you by our side, I believe we can face whatever the galaxy throws at us." Zix's form shimmered with emotion. "Your faith in me, in us, it gives me strength I never knew I had. Whatever comes, Captain, I swear I will stand with humanity." As if in response to their words, alarms began blaring throughout the ship. Ray's voice came over the intercom, urgent and tense. "Captain, to the bridge. We're detecting massive energy signatures entering the system. It's like nothing we've ever seen before." Sarah's heart raced as she rushed to the bridge, Zix gliding silently beside her. As they burst onto the command deck, the main view screen lit up with a sight that took her breath away. A vast armada of ships filled the space before them, their designs as varied as the species that crewed them. At their center was a vessel of impossible size, a construct that seemed to bend the very fabric of space around it. "The Galactic Council," Zix's mental voice whispered in awe and fear. "They've come to pass judgment." Sarah straightened her uniform, her voice steady as she addressed her crew. "This is it, people. Everything we've prepared for. Whatever happens next will define humanity's place in the cosmos." She turned to Zix, reaching out to place a hand on its shimmering form. "Are you ready, my friend?" Zix's form pulsed with determination. "With you, Captain, I am ready for anything." As the massive alien fleet drew closer, Sarah Chen and her crew stood tall, united in their resolve. They were about to face the challenge of a lifetime, with the fate of Earth and perhaps the entire galaxy hanging in the balance. The Great Stand. The bridge of the ISS horizon hummed with tense energy as Captain Sarah Chen and her crew faced the imposing Galactic Council fleet. The vast array of alien ships filled the view screen, a testament to the advanced civilizations that had come to pass judgment on humanity and their alliance with Zix. Sarah's voice cut through the tension. "Open a channel to the Council's flagship." The main view screen flickered, revealing the diverse panel of alien beings they had spoken with earlier. The crystalline entity at the center pulsed with barely contained energy as it addressed them. "Humans of Earth, this is your final warning. Surrender the being known as Zix and submit to the Council's authority, or face the consequences of your defiance." Sarah stood tall, her voice steady and resolute. "We've made our position clear, Counselor. Zix is under our protection, and Earth does not bow to threats. We're open to peaceful negotiation, but we will defend ourselves if necessary." The crystalline being's light flared with frustration. "So be it. You have chosen your fate." As the transmission cut off, the alien armada began to move. Ships of various sizes and configurations took up attack positions, their weapons charging with ominous energy. "All hands, battle stations," Sarah commanded. "Zix, are you ready?" The alien's form shimmered with determination. "I am with you, Captain, always." As the first volley of alien weapons fire streaked towards them, Zix's consciousness merged with the horizon's systems. The ship moved with impossible grace, dodging energy beams and projectiles that should have annihilated it. "Return fire," Sarah ordered. "Target their lead ships. Let's show them what we can do." The Horizon's newly enhanced weapons blazed to life, powered by the unique fusion of human technology and Zix's abilities. Beams of energy lanced out, striking alien shields with precision and force that caught the Council fleet off guard. But the Galactic Council's forces were vast and powerful. For every ship they damaged or disabled, 3 more took its place. The space around them became a chaotic dance of energy weapons, missiles, and maneuvering vessels. "Captain," Raj called out, his voice strained. "Earth's defense fleet is engaging the Council forces in the outer system, but they're outnumbered. We can't hold out against as many ships for long." Sarah gritted her teeth, her mind racing. They needed a game-changer, something to level the playing field. That's when an idea struck her. "Zix," she called out, both aloud and in her mind. "You said you could see the patterns of energy, the connections between things. Can you extend that ability? See the connections between the Council ships, find a weakness in their coordination?" Zix's form pulsed with concentration. I can try, Captain, but it will require all of my focus. I won't be able to assist with our defenses." "Do it," Sarah commanded. "We'll hold them off as long as we can." As Zix's consciousness expanded, reaching out across the battlefield, the horizon suddenly felt vulnerable. Without the aliens' enhanced reflexes guiding them, they were forced to rely solely on human skill and determination. Sarah barked orders, coordinating with the Earth fleet to create a defensive perimeter around the horizon. Human ingenuity shone as they used asteroids for cover, executed complex maneuvers to confuse enemy targeting systems, and improvised tactics on the fly. Minutes stretched into hours as the battle raged on. The horizon took hit after hit, its shields failing and hull breaches spreading across multiple decks. But still they fought on, buying time for Zix to complete its task. Just as it seemed they could hold out no longer, Zix's mental voice thundered through their minds. "I found it. The Council fleet. Their ships are linked in a vast psychic network. If we can disrupt it..." Sarah didn't hesitate. "Do it, Zix. Give it everything you've got." Zix's form blazed with light as it channeled its power through the horizon's systems. A wave of psychic energy burst forth, invisible to the naked eye, but devastatingly effective against the Council's fleet. Across the battlefield, alien ships suddenly lost coordination. Some fired on their allies, others drifted aimlessly in space. The mighty armada that had seemed unstoppable moments ago was thrown into chaos. "Now's our chance," Sarah shouted. "All ships, concentrate fire on their flagship." The combined firepower of the human fleet, led by the horizon, lanced out towards the massive Council vessel at the heart of the armada. For a moment, it seemed as though even this concentrated assault would fail against the flagship's formidable defenses. But then, with a final surge of power from Zix, the horizon's main weapon pierced through. The Council flagship's shields collapsed, and subsequent hits tore through its hull. As the flagship began to break apart, a stunned silence fell across the battlefield. The remaining Council ships ceased fire, clearly at a loss without their central command. Sarah stood at the center of the horizon's battered bridge, her uniform torn and smudged with soot, but her eyes blazing with triumph. "Open a channel to all ships," she ordered. As the communications officer complied, Sarah addressed both her allies and the remnants of the Council fleet. "This battle is over. We've demonstrated that humanity and its allies are not to be underestimated. We're willing to negotiate for peace, but it must be as equals. The age of the Galactic Council's unchallenged authority has come to an end." As her words echoed across space, Sarah turned to Zix, whose form was dim with exhaustion but pulsing with pride. "We did it, my friend," she said softly. "We've changed the course of galactic history." Zix's mental voice was weak, but filled with warmth. "No, Captain, you did it. You showed the galaxy what true strength is, not domination, but cooperation. Acceptance of differences, not fear of them." As the adrenaline of battle faded, Sarah realized that their victory had come at a great cost. The horizon was badly damaged, as were many of the Earth ships. The path ahead would be challenging, filled with diplomatic negotiations and the monumental task of reshaping galactic society. But as she looked at her brave crew, at Zix, and at the stars beyond, Sarah Chen knew that humanity had earned its place among those stars. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, with the same determination and ingenuity that had brought them this far. A new era. The Grand Assembly Hall of the newly formed Galactic Confederation buzzed with activity. Representatives from hundreds of species, some familiar and many more exotic than anything humans had ever imagined, filled the vast chamber. At the center of it all stood Captain Sarah Chen, now Admiral Chen, Earth's primary representative to this new interstellar body. Beside her, Zix's form shimmered with barely contained excitement. In the months since the Great Battle, the alien had become a symbol of the new era of cooperation between species. Its unique abilities and perspective had proven invaluable in the delicate negotiations that followed the conflict. Sarah took a deep breath, straightening her formal uniform as she prepared to address the assembly. The eyes of the galaxy were upon her, and the weight of responsibility was immense. Representatives of the Galactic Confederation, she began, her voice carrying across the chamber. We stand here today at the dawn of a new era. An era not of dominance and fear, but of cooperation and mutual understanding. As she spoke, holographic displays came to life around the chamber, showing scenes from the past months. Human scientists working alongside alien counterparts, the reconstruction efforts on worlds damaged in the conflict, and the first joint deep space exploration missions. The battle we fought was not just about defending Earth or protecting Zix, Sarah continued. It was about challenging the very notion that differences should divide us, that those deemed inferior or defective have no value. Zix's mental voice joined hers, resonating through the minds of all present. Together, we have proven that true strength lies not in conformity, but in diversity. Each species, each individual, brings unique perspectives and abilities that enrich us all. Sarah nodded in agreement. The old Galactic Council sought to maintain a rigid hierarchy, fearing change and shunning those who didn't fit their ideals. But in doing so, they stifled innovation and missed out on the incredible potential that comes from embracing our differences. She gestured to the assembled representatives. Look around you. In this chamber are beings of incredible diversity. Some breathe methane, others subsist on pure energy. Some communicate through color changes, others through complex mathematical equations. And yet, here we all are, united in our desire to build a better future for all. The chamber filled with a chorus of agreement, expressed in myriad ways, flashing lights, melodic trills, pheromone releases, and more. But our work is far from over, Sarah cautioned. There are still those who cling to the old ways, who fear change and seek to sow division. And there are challenges ahead that will test our newfound unity. As if on cue, an aide rushed to Sarah's side, whispering urgently in her ear. She listened intently, her expression growing serious. Representatives, she addressed the assembly once more. We've just received word of a situation that will be our first test as a confederation. A spatial anomaly has been detected on the fringes of known space, threatening several populated systems. It's like nothing we've ever encountered before. A ripple of concern spread through the chamber. Sarah raised her hand for calm. This is precisely why we formed this confederation. No single species has the knowledge or resources to face this threat alone. But together, combining our diverse sciences, technologies, and perspectives, we stand a fighting chance. Zix's form pulsed with determination. We faced impossible odds before, and we prevailed. We will do so again. Sarah nodded, a smile tugging at her lips despite the gravity of the situation. I propose we immediately form a joint task force to investigate and address this anomaly. Let this be the first of many times we stand united against the unknown. The chamber erupted in a cacophony of agreement. Representatives from various species quickly volunteered their best scientists, explorers, and resources for the mission. As the assembly broke into focus groups to plan their response, Sarah felt a swell of pride and hope. This was what they had fought for, not just survival, but the chance to forge a better future for all sentient beings. Zix's mental voice brushed against her mind. You've come so far, Sarah Chen, from a captain facing first contact to the architect of a new galactic order. Sarah smiled, placing a hand on Zix's shimmering form. We've come far, my friend, all of us, and our journey is just beginning. As they looked out over the bustling assembly, Sarah and Zix shared a moment of quiet understanding. The road ahead would be challenging, filled with new discoveries, potential conflicts, and unforeseen obstacles. But they would face it all together as a united galaxy. The stars that had once seemed cold and distant now beckoned with the promise of adventure and discovery. Humanity had taken its place among the cosmos, not through dominance, but through compassion, ingenuity, and the willingness to embrace the unknown. As the Galactic Confederation mobilized for its first joint mission, Sarah Chen knew that whatever lay ahead, they were ready. The era of division was over. A new chapter in galactic history had begun, and its story was yet to be written. The end.